Recently, a source said Meghan Markle will be the most famous person in the world if she stays in the royal family. All right, well, this is the assessment of a royal commentator, but is this baseless or is it in fact well founded? Let's analyze in this video. Well, the Duke and Duchess of Lies quit their royal duties and moved to California back in 2020. And now Lady Colin Campbell is claiming that Meghan Markle, the former Suits actress, could have been even more popular, that she could have been the most popular human on earth as a working member of the royal family, even more popular than Catherine, the Princess of Wales. But she couldn't help but add that Princess Catherine has now managed to knock Meghan for a six. She said, and I don't think Meghan is capable of regret. She isn't Catherine. Her personality type is not that of somebody who learns from their mistakes. She blames everybody else for her errors. She's not capable of learning a lesson, which is tragic. So first things first, I don't buy this. I disagree with Lady C. I do not believe for one second that Meghan Markle would have been more popular than Catherine. I mean, even before they left, they had already started having problems. I mean, people were bothered by their behavior on a daily basis. They talk about environmental issues, for example, and then they use private jets whenever they can, standing in one of the most impoverished places on earth, whining that nobody asked how she was feeling. And what about her treatment of staff? If she had stayed another year as a working royal, I think people would have found out even more about her and disliked her even more. On the other hand, if we're going to believe what Lady C is saying, then this means Meghan Markle is even dumber than we initially thought. Every decision is her choice. All I can assume, I guess, is that Meghan Markle didn't want to be the world's most popular person, and so now she's having to sell some jam and coffee online. Lots of integrity and popularity to follow for all the wrong reasons. Harry also should have married somebody who was prepared for royal life. Meghan didn't understand it. She didn't try to understand it. And I'm curious about how much longer this marriage is going to drag on. I mean, he could have at least found somebody who was willing to learn. I mean, look at the Duchess of Gloucester, for example. The Duchess of Gloucester's background is not royal or aristocratic in the least, and she married into the royal family not anticipating her husband, Prince Richard, to become either a duke or a working royal, because he was a younger son of a younger son. Well, of course, things changed. They were called upon, and now she is a respected member of the team of working royals, and she's been that way for the past 52 years. So obviously, what you were born into doesn't necessarily matter. But I don't think Meghan would have ever been able to adapt if she had stayed. I don't care what people say. Meghan is an unknown actress. I had never heard her name until Harry introduced her to the whole world, and then they got married. Meghan would never be queen. She's not like Princess Grace of Monaco. Miss Kelly is everything that Meghan Markle could never be. What those two people did was disastrous and a huge mistake, too. I mean, they did two visits when they were first married. They went to Australia and Africa, and what a complete debacle both those visits were. The Queen ended up having to apologize for their behavior. So, who is this claiming that Meghan Markle would have been the most popular? I usually agree with Lady C, but not on this one. Meghan Markle has never had what it takes. She doesn't have any class, she doesn't know how to dress well, she has no manners, no etiquette. She also isn't a warm, caring person. Her personality is just not all that likable. Meghan is not interested in other people unless there's something in it for her. The thing is, no matter how hard she tries, she cannot fake being a nice person. Meghan was never going to be popular. Maybe if she were a different person altogether, had a different personality, maybe if she were actually kind, and maybe if she didn't have such an abrasive personality, people would have liked her. But otherwise, no. And I suspect that if Harry and Meghan had stayed and developed their own projects like the Queen wanted them to do, they could have been successful and they could have been great ambassadors for the country. But it's obvious now that Meghan Markle never intended to stay. She never wanted to do her duty. And basically, she just worked on Harry until he had to make the move. And now they're trying to be influencers, but they're not influencing anybody. Another reason I think it would have been a complete shambles if Meghan had stayed is because she would have tried her best to mess up William and Catherine whenever she got the chance to, because she was so desperate to be queen. Meghan Markle cannot handle playing second fiddle. She's just got too much of an ego on her. So everybody in Britain and all over the world, really, we've already seen her for what she is, and we don't like her. I despise Meghan for what she has done in trying to destroy the royal family ever since she and Harry ran away. But at the same time, I do believe that Harry and Meghan could have been successful if they had just gone with what the late Queen suggested and become Commonwealth ambassadors. Just think about how much good they could have done all across the globe. They could have had such nice careers with the lifestyle they're so desperate for, including IPP status. But now they're always whining and they've made themselves into worldwide laughingstocks. Problems Harry and Meghan are experiencing right now are all their fault. But seriously, how could they have ever become more popular, more famous than Catherine and William? I mean, come on now. It's William and Catherine, Prince and Princess of Wales. And Catherine is the most remarkable woman who is so kind, so gentle to everyone she meets. That woman does not have a mean bone in her whole body, unlike Meghan Markle. At the engagement interview, we got an idea of who Meghan really was, but we thought maybe she's nervous. But then she became more of a control freak, or she showed that side of herself more. Meghan Markle was way too demanding. Her demands were impossible to meet. I mean, she was trying to tell the late queen what to say, what to do. What Meghan wants, Meghan did not get. And what is this instead? Catherine has knocked her for a six. Catherine didn't need to do anything. I would say that Meghan Markle has really ruined her own reputation all by herself. Now, the nation supported her on her wedding day with Harry, but Meghan has single handedly destroyed all the goodwill that was offered to her by the British public. Princess Catherine was always going to be the next queen. Nothing Meghan did could have ever changed that. But popularity wasn't good enough for Meghan. Meghan wanted the power. She wanted the wealth. She wanted to live like a billionaire. And even though royals do have privileges, and especially compared to normal people, they appear very wealthy because they live in castles and mansions, they don't really have any real power. Honestly, in some ways, they have less power than ordinary citizens because they're not free to express their own opinions. It's not like they get to pick and choose most of the charities they patronize. They don't get to pick and choose what tours they do. They've got to listen to really dull speeches. They have to attend very repetitive time parades. They have to follow protocol and all this smiling, all this staying stoic and looking happy without ever complaining. But Meghan wanted the glitz. She wanted the glamour. She wanted the money. And maybe Meghan could have been popular for a little while, but I think soon enough we would have seen her true character. Meghan doesn't know how to act. She won't listen to anybody, and she doesn't really care what others think of her as long as she gets her own way. She has no grace. She is completely lacking in etiquette and style too, and that's only three of her many, many flaws. So, Meghan, the world's most popular human? No, I think that's a complete fantasy. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, is much more popular all over the world than Meghan will ever think of being. She couldn't have been popular because Meghan Markle simply isn't willing to engage in public service. And so people got tired of her. She just wanted the money, the jewelry, the castles. Meghan is also not a very good actress, and I'm sure her true personality would have come out sooner rather than later. Meghan Markle was always so many steps below Catherine. She just came in with this ridiculous attitude, and that attitude was her downfall. Meghan is also convinced she already knows everything. She's not going to learn about royal protocol. I mean, the family is much better off without either of those two. We saw through her after a pretty short time, remember. We heard her, we saw her behavior. It wasn't so difficult to suss her out. So, maybe it's easier for me as an American to see it because I unfortunately have met people like her before. And I think that you'll find the media have revealed her connection with some of the nastiest trolls and bots on the internet, and her connection with Boozy too. So no, Meghan is not popular. The support she's got on her website is fake. Her fans, the sugar she has to pay, and she even gives them a Christmas bonus apparently. Now, the bots, she pays Boozy to organize those, and I'm glad that he's being exposed by the media and the algorithms. He's been bankrupt twice, and he wrote on his own Twitter account that he is being paid by both Meghan Markle and Amber Heard. Pretty interesting, too, coming from someone who not only betrayed his own grandmother, but degraded his father, brother, and other members of the monarchy. For what reason exactly? I mean, is Harry really just trying to take revenge for his mother's passing, or is this something deeper going on? The paranoia he suffers from is his own fault, and it's fueled by his narcissistic wife, who has risen from nothing to enjoy a life of immense fame and fortune for all the wrong reasons. So, as far as I'm concerned, Harry feels guilty. He knows the family is never going to sink so low as to tell the world what he has done. He should be so ashamed of his behavior, but he's not. I mean, both his father and his sister in law right now are battling cancer. He's got to realize there is more important stuff going on. Nobody is worried about him. He's got his life, so fine, get on with it, but please do it quietly. So, in conclusion, Meghan has no public role, and to get media attention, she basically invades her own privacy. Meghan was just trying to copy Catherine to get attention and cry victim. Until one day, Meghan is going to realize that she made the biggest mistake of her life, but the thing is, nobody wants her back. And that's it for our analysis of the news that Meghan Markle would be the most famous person in the world if she stayed in the royal family. How did you like our newsletter, and what are your thoughts on this issue? Please leave a comment to let us know. And don't forget to support us to help us make even more great videos on interesting topics.